Get a clap. So everything is synced. There we go. All right. And let's go.
What's up, man?
What's up, man?
How's it going? Good.
Good.
We're
Good.
here.
We're here. We're here finally.
Yes. After what?
A couple takes. It was a process. So, this is our first podcast.
Yes.
Welcome.
It's happening.
It's our first. I guess it's our first official podcast. We had a couple unofficial ones, a couple trial runs.
Y'all have no idea how many times we've said it's happening or we're doing this.
It's for real going down this time.
Yeah, we're doing it today.
Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah.
So, but here we are. You know.
There's a lesson in that though. You know, like when you're doing. Well, yeah, you just got to keep doing it. And a lot of times, especially you're doing something new, you have no clue.
Yep.
It's easy just to okay, forget this. Let's just,
It's easy to get discouraged too. Like we messed up, so I know the listeners and watchers may not know this, but we messed up a lot getting this started. So, it was a process for sure. Getting this up and going. I think we did it 3 times now. This is our 3rd or 4th time.
Yes.
Doing this. So first time I think that something went wrong. Oh yeah, laptop died. Like halfway through it, laptop died. So brought the charger, and then second time something internet or something like that related. And the third time was like a streaming issue. Like audio was bad. And so now here we are. We're doing it again. I think we've learned from our other mistakes, and
we've learned some stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But it's a constant process.
Yep.
You're always trying to.
Yep.
Learn and do better.
Yep, absolutely.
So we're doing it.
We're doing it, man. So
this is it. So welcome to the first ever. This is Chase.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm Charles.
Everybody knows Charles.
Maybe.
I think most people know you. Most people don't know about you though. So
they don't. They don't.
What about Charles? Like how did you get where you're at? And what drove you to be here now? I guess
that's a good question. So, you know what? It's a lot of me doing and working at places that I didn't necessarily want to work at.
Yeah.
But, of course, you got to work. You got to work somewhere.
Yep.
And so, but there was something deep down that, I wanted to find something I kind of enjoyed.
Yeah.
And there was a moment where I was like, is this even possible? Does anybody enjoy their job?
Right.
And I really was thinking that, maybe I'm just lazy. I don't know. Maybe there's not something. Maybe you just got to work, and just do what you got to do.
Kind of
and
status quo.
And just have a kind of a sorry life. Then I started doing videos more and more, and I was like, man, I enjoyed this a lot. Maybe I can. And
what made you want to start doing videos? I don't mean to cut you off, but you started doing them. I know we worked together at AT&T.
Yeah.
Whenever you started making them, so what? I never asked you this. This is for my personal development as well. But what made you want to start making videos?
So so for instance at AT&T, that's whenever Vine was real big, right? And so I was like, man, I want to make some some Vines. And I remember then I was kind of I was getting sick. I would use my lunch break to go make a Vine or something, or I'd make it at while we're working.
A ton of followers.
Yeah, well, yeah. I started getting there, and then all of a sudden Vine died.
Yep,
and that was gone. But for me, it was fun because it was like a creative outlet, and it was while I started doing that I realized it wasn't that I wanted to do videos for a living. It was that I enjoyed doing making videos.
Right.
Just making, silly whatever videos. I just enjoyed making something. And that's when I realized, man, if I could somehow turn this into a way to make income, for my family, then I could do something I enjoy.
Why not, right?
And so then I was a teacher here in Waco, 7th grade math teacher, which I chose math because I love math. But teaching it is just, that's a whole the kids are great. The kids are great. The district was great. The school, it was, I just wasn't a good fit. There was just some things I just wasn't good at. And I knew I wasn't going to retire teacher. So I was like, I've got to do something. And I was real, just dissatisfied and having a hard time getting up, going to work. Just to be transparent. One morning I got to work and I can't explain, I was in a good place. To an extent, but I remember one morning I was so stressed about the job, and just doing it that I pulled in the parking lot, parked my car, and this is in the morning when I got there. Before I got it, and then just had just a panic attack. Just
really?
sitting in my car.
And you'd been working there for a while, so this wasn't like this is my first day.
I had been there for 2 years or a year and a half. At that point, it was like a year. I've already been there like a year and a half.
Right.
And I don't know why. I don't know what. And it's the only time ever that I had one like that. And I was just like, I mean, it was probably some other things too. But
yeah, there's probably other factors. But like that was that was you showed up and just had a panic. Wow.
And it was awful. And I was like, and so then I remember, you have no choice. You just gotta get it together.
Yep.
And go in there.
You still have a job to do. You can't just like quit.
Yeah.
I
remember sitting in my car and just kind of got myself together and just kind of recovered a little bit, wiped my face, and then went in there and acted like nothing was wrong.
So did you do that? I feel like from your story, you probably did that more than just that day. That day was just the worst. You going into work every day, you knew like this is not what I want to. Yeah, this is not my dream.
And again, it wasn't because of the kids, and it wasn't because of the school or other teachers. It just wasn't a good fit for me, and I knew I had to do something different. But the problem was I didn't know how to do something different. Right. Almost like felt like I was stuck. So to make a long story short, shortly after that moment, I was laying in bed. My wife, my kids are asleep, and I was laying in bed, and I was just looking at videos and stuff of some different people, and not for any reason. I was just kind of scrolling, and then I thought to myself, like a question popped in my mind, like, why can't I do that? Right. Because I knew they were doing it for a living, and I was like, why can't I do that? Yeah. And I just paused and thought for a minute on that. And then all of a sudden something clicked in me, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do that.
See, I think that's so fascinating. Like, whenever people tell those types of stories, like where, just kind of like it just clicked for you. Like, I just think that's that's awesome. Like, that's so fascinating, man. Like, for real. Yeah.
And what's crazy, okay? Because I know, even when I said that, a part of me was like, what does that mean? But something really did click. And it was like, and it was the part of me that said, one, this is possible. Right. Like, I know it, even though it kind of doesn't seem like it is possible. Like they're doing it, and they're just people. I was like,
you got to remember, everybody has that same start though. Everybody starts basically from nothing. Like, other people start different situations, but for the most part, everybody kind of starts from nowhere. It's like they got there, and so you can do that. Yeah, that's awesome.
If anybody's done it, then it's possible. Yeah. That's like, Yeah. And so one, I realized, okay, it is possible. Mm-hmm. And two, something clicked in that it changed from me, oh, that would be cool one day, to I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. And so from that moment, I started just being a little more focused on what I was aiming for. And I started spending more of my free time, like the little time that I had where I wasn't teaching or wasn't like with my family, making videos. And and what happened is, just in a couple months, things started shifting like drastically. And that's when I started picking up a little momentum, and kind of had a couple breaks, like the toilet plunger one. Mm-hmm.
Most people probably remember that one. That's the one where we watch out for the splashage.
Yeah, watch out for the splashage.
Watch out for the splashage. That was the most popular one. Yeah,
just keep plunging and watch out for the splashage. Yep. It just took off out of nowhere. Yeah. Anyways, it really did. So, but it was that moment though where I was like, something's got to change, because I cannot do this for the rest of my life. I would be I refuse to be miserable the rest of my life. And if I loved my job and I was good at it, like teaching, I would have loved to retire teacher. Like, that would have been awesome. In fact, then it would have been like amazing, because I was already doing it. But I just, it just wasn't for me. Yeah. So
that's awesome. You had that self-awareness too. Like, a lot of people, they kind of go through status quo, like, hey, this is my job, this is what I went to school for, or what have you. And they found out it's not really what they like to do. They a lot of people, I wouldn't say they lack the self-awareness, but they don't do self-discovery, like, as far as like, okay, this isn't really what I like doing. They look at it from other perspectives, like, I need to make money, I need to bring in X amount, I need to be able to support my family, and you need to do all those things. I'm not saying work for free forever, but like that self-awareness of finding out, I'm really good at making videos, engaging audiences, instead of, not that you weren't a great teacher, but like you didn't enjoy doing that. You had the self-awareness to recognize that there's something else that I would rather be doing than doing that. And I think a lot of people, it seems like there's, to me at least, seems like there's kind of two versions of that, right? There's people that have the self-awareness. They know that, they're better off or they're happier doing something else, but then they don't act on it. And there's other people that just lack it altogether. And then I guess there's a third one, like where people kind of have all of those, right? They execute,
or they refuse to realize, like refuse to like believe that they're unhappy, or
right.
Like they just
they
kind of ignore it.
That's a whole another conversation. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people that they go to school because they've always been told to go to school, get good grades, you get a good job. And I know this because some of my friends have done that. I did it. I was doing the same thing. I came from a corporate background, and same thing. You're told to go to school, get a job, because that was the way that it used to work. Nowadays, so many, like, the economy is good. Internet is the distributor of all things. Like, you can be, you basically can start your own business and without any overhead. All you need is a cheap website from Squarespace. It costs like $10 a month. You got a product that maybe you're good at making stuff, or maybe you're good at creating a podcast, maybe you're good at photos, you're good at making cakes, like whatever, or
building
you're good
tables,
at.
or
building so there's so many things that you can do now that you have a bigger opportunity to do than what you used to. But like, it's just
that's the thing. Like, so if somebody, there's a different, like, some people know what they want to do, and then you go to school or whatever it is, and you do it.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all.
And that's amazing.
Yeah, right.
But the problem is I never had that. There was never, like, whenever I was in high school, a senior in high school, and I was, people were like, all right, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. And I just would, like, pick something and say, that sounds cool.
This sounds cool, yeah.
But there was no passion. Like, it was literally like
self-awareness.
Yeah. And so, and that's the problem, is when you don't know. What, and that's why I think, like, dissatisfaction, like that deep, like, dissatisfaction or discontentment, in a way, like, not with everything, but in a way, like, when it comes to, like, your job or what you're doing, is like a gift. Because it almost forces you to do something.
Absolutely.
Like, if you're so miserable, you can't keep going. You got to do something. And so you just do something, and like.
Exactly. I think that that's a very good point that you made, because I think that it kind of depends on where you're at with your career. Obviously, if you're discontent, you're not happy, then you're more apt to do something different, right? But even the ones that are okay, like, they're content, they're not happy. Like, what I was doing, I worked in corporate with a large telecom company. With three letters. Anyways, I was in.
Are we allowed to say it or no?
I think we could say it.
AT&T. So he worked at AT&T, and and you did
not sponsored.
You did really well there.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, that's where I met Chase. We worked at the retail store, like, where you upgrade phones and do all that. And then he was there for years, and he did so well with.
It's kind of climbed the corporate ladder.
You did well with everything. Like, you just knew everything. You were good with customers. You were good with the like, tech side, everything, everything, to do everything. Like, if I had questions, I would, like, go to you. And then you just kind of excelled, and got, you promoted, and you did really well. You were doing good.
So then I went up into corporate, and I thought that's where I wanted to be. Like, the whole time I was working in retail, I thought that that's where I wanted to be, right? Oh man. And
like,
again,
if I could just get here.
If I can just get, exactly. So, like, I was chasing this happiness that, like, didn't really exist, right? So, like, I would be in retail, I was okay with it because I was in college. Once I graduated college, I thought I was going to go into my degree field. Luckily, I had the self-awareness early on to realize that that's not what I wanted to do. Like, IT was just not for me. Like, I went to school for it. I did well in it in school, but I just wasn't my thing, right? I wanted to do something else. So, got a degree, literally never used it, still haven't used it. Other than whenever my family calls for IT help or something, but typically never use it, right? And so at that point, I stayed in retail, and that's where you started working, I think, right as I was still in college. So I graduated, and then went into kind of like into management, and then went into corporate, because that was my goal. I was like, okay, well, if I'm not going to use my degree, then I need to go into corporate. I need to get the corporate life. I'm tired of working, retail hours. Oh my gosh, retail hours. So, like, I was so tired of that, right? I was just like, man, I'm ready for, like, a real job. I've been doing this for a while. Like, I'm ready to get a real. So I chased into corporate and started doing that. Did well. It was great, and, like, I didn't do bad at it. I enjoyed it, but I still wasn't happy. Right? I was like, all right, well, now I've got everything that I want, right? I've got the money, I've got the salary, I've got the benefits, I've got the hours. Still something's missing. Like, okay, so this isn't it, right? And it goes back to that self-awareness. So like I got there, I was like, man, this just isn't for me. And so I started doing video. Actually, I guess I started more with photos when I first started, but I started with photos, just like taking pictures of like cars, and like had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
I shot in auto mode. Like I had no.
It was fun.
It was fun to me, right? And so like I knew like it was like a small little seed that was planted early on. Like this is kind of cool, you know. And I was still in retail and I was doing that. And
you know what's crazy? Just not to interrupt, but to pause you for a minute. What's crazy is like, so I go back to, because especially talking about like we don't know. Sometimes it's like a journey of trying to find what we're good at and what we enjoy, like a passion. And so I can imagine like the first time that you picked up a camera. Yeah. In your mind, you're like, you didn't have a clue about it. Yeah. You probably didn't even know how to like turn it on or stuff. Yep. But I can imagine like the first time you had it and you're like playing with it and you just take a picture. Yep. And then all of a sudden, the seed like plants in you. Yeah. And then it just, you just
slowly started growing. So it's kind of funny because like it's like a linear effect. So like as I went up and I realized I wasn't as happy, my pursuit in photography and video also started going up, right? Because like I could see the trends.
Had like a scale,
right? Scale here.
Yeah, going.
Anyway, so like I started realizing early on, like, man, I better start doing something else, like just in case. That's the way I looked at it. It was like it's a just in case thing, and it's a it gets me to decompress from work. Like when I was done working, obviously retail hours was long, but like on my days off and stuff, it would give me something to do, right? I'd have something to edit or something to shoot, or I just run around town and do something. And then we started making videos, and that's when it kind of changed. Like whenever Charles and I started making videos, so before the Lil Billy started, we started doing spoken words. And I started filming those, and I was like, man, this is really fun. Like, now I'm telling stories. Like, photos are fun, but like...
When I was a kid, I would look up to the sky. I would see all the stars, and I would ask why. Why is the universe so big? I know it's not all for me. There has to be something bigger. There just got to be.
Exactly. So I think So we started making those, and I realized, like, okay, now I'm getting, like, this is something I can enjoy doing. So we started doing those, and then I started pursuing... like little videos
so I realized that you really enjoyed it too, and that you wanted to. I knew you, because I felt bad because I wanted to do it, make these videos, but I felt bad because, of course I didn't have it. Like I wasn't able to like give you nothing, and so I always felt bad. But it was cool because you just wanted to make something and learn and just like create, and so that's what. Yeah.
So I just wanted to make stuff, man. And so I started doing that. And then a buddy of mine worked up in Dallas doing real estate photography. And he was like, hey, man, like you enjoy photos. You really enjoy video. Have you thought about getting into the real estate field? And I was like, no, like that was the furthest thing from my mind. I thought my mind was doing corporate stuff, doing weddings, doing, spoken, doing other projects. Yeah. Never really considered like maybe real estate would be cool. Like, never even thought about it. And so I was like, no, that's a good idea. I'll consider it. And so I went up there in Dallas and kind of like more or less shadowed him for like a day, like just kind of rode around with him, like shot a couple homes and stuff. And, nice. I realized like, this is kind of cool. Like, all right, I had the equipment already. Like I just needed a couple different equipment pieces, but like for the most part I had everything that I already needed. And so I was like, all right, cool, so I'm gonna check this out. And so I started pursuing it, and then realized that like I was super happy. Like I was like, dude, this is legit right here. Because the one thing that always stressed me out about photos, like especially with weddings and corporate events and stuff, is like most of the times they're events that happen once. So if you mess something up, or if you miss a shot, or if your camera dies,
you can't like go back.
You can't go back and just say, hey, let's redo that first look again. Like pretend you haven't seen her yet. Like you can't do that, right? So like if you're doing video, at least, there's so much more potential as far as like telling a story. And this is more towards weddings based, I guess. But if for some reason you never miss like first look or anything. That was a really bad example, but I would probably be fired. But no, like typically, you if you miss something,
like the cutting of the cake, or
like if you miss something, you can B-roll over that, right? You can do something else. And so with photography, at least, that's why I wasn't happy doing that. But like homes, different story, right? I have time to compose a shot. I have time to make sure that my walls are straight, make sure I'm showing the room accurately, things like that. Things that I'm actually able to slow down and enjoy the process more, and I'm not stressed and having to run back and forth. So I enjoyed it early on, and so I started pursuing it and worked with a couple agents just doing homes like here and there, like maybe one a week, like maybe. It was like more like one a month probably. It was like really slow, and I really enjoyed it though. I was like, man, I want to do this. And so I was still at AT&T and started working with this agent, Mario, that was with Magnolia at the time. And so those that don't know who Magnolia is, we're here in Waco. Magnolia is like huge here.
Yeah. So if you are a Magnolia fan, the silo, just to make you jealous, the silos are like
right here,
probably 3 blocks from where we're
like. We open this window, we can probably see them.
Yeah,
like, it's like right here. So he was working with them with their realty company, and so he was hungry, I was hungry. I was trying to make a name for myself, he was trying to make a name for himself. And so we started working together and started doing a bunch of video, right? Obviously photos, you have to take photos of a home to list it. So we were doing those clearly, but like he was real hungry to like, hey, I want to do something different. And so I wanted to do something different. I wanted to get into video, right? So we started doing that. And then long story short, now we've kind of expanded a decent amount. And it just kind of goes back to that self-awareness that I spoke about, and then chasing your passion, right? Like I learned early on working with you that video was my thing. And
and then you just kept doing it.
Just kept doing it, And I really enjoy it. Like it's almost like, it's funny. It really is funny because it's almost like it's not real. Like I'm getting paid to do this. Like I love doing this. Like this is crazy. And it don't matter what it is. Like if you enjoy sales, like dude, I'm getting paid to sell. Like you know what I'm saying? Like whatever your passion is, like just chasing that. Like that's crazy.
And not that it's not work, because it's still, you got to put in time, and there's things there's certain things you guys do still that you don't necessarily want to do, but you do enjoy it. It's different. It's I don't know. It's what everybody, but you getting to where you're at now. So now he is full time, he with his business Lone Star visuals. Yep. And they do, real estate and weddings, and they do all kinds of pictures, video, photography, video, real estate, weddings, whatever. So now, but to get to this point now where you're doing it full time. Yeah. It was a process. It
was a long process. Yeah. And I think that's the hardest thing for me, is because I'm so impatient. I'm a very impatient person. And so like for me, like I wanted success now. I wanted now. And I learned early on that whenever you're building something, if you're truly building something, it takes time. Like you built your brand, right? It took time. It takes time. And so
it's crazy. So my YouTube channel I've had since like 2000.
Like you said, like 2009 or something?
2008 or 2009, or something like that. It's been a long time. Yeah. But I didn't do much, like it was here, there, just whatever, like video here and
little stuff here and there,
And but once I got more focused and started putting more stuff out and kind of like going for that. It was still a process of like just doing the same thing over and over and over. And just trying to build a little bit with everyone, like just build just a little bit more, and just reach a few more people. But it took a long time. Yeah. And so people ask me like, well, I want to do videos, or I want to blah, blah, blah. And like, how do I do it? And I'm like, you just got to do it, and you just got to keep doing it. And you can, like you said, a lot of people want, I guess everybody wants, like immediate. Yeah. But that's not that does not exist.
Doesn't exist.
No matter what you're doing, you've got to do it. Yeah. And you've got to just keep doing it.
Yeah, I can't stress that enough. But I mean, that's the moral of that story. I know mine was long-winded, but the moral of the story was just like, find a passion that you like, regardless of what it is. You can make money doing anything nowadays. Yeah. Like literally doing anything. Like if you're really good at organizing closets, you could write a blog about how to, like, there's so much stuff that you can make money doing now. Like whenever I get, well, actually you may know this, may not, but whenever I get spare time, like on weekends, I like to go hit up a garage sale and just find something cheap to sell. Like I find something cheap, and then I'll turn around and flip it on eBay just for fun. Like even if I make $4 on it, it's just, I enjoy just the process of like bringing in, money that I didn't have otherwise.
Yeah.
And so, I guess that's what attracted me to sales originally. But,
yeah,
I enjoy that. And so, finding something that you enjoy doing and then running with that, I think is super important. But that's the moral of that story.
So how are you doing right now?
Good. We are growing all the time. We stay somewhat busy. I mean, we're not the biggest real estate photography company in Central Texas, but
you are the best.
Yeah. I don't know how long. That just hit me.
No bias.
No bias here.
No, his stuff is really great though.
Yeah. Hopefully, my clients think I'm the best. That's what matters to me so much. It's not. I try not to compare myself to others.
Right. You want just to make great stuff that they are like.
As long as my clients are happy, then I'm happy. Right.
Yep.
So that's what matters to me so much. So.
Have you had to make any changes? Okay, so
changes.
So from leaving the
corporate world,
stable job.
Yep.
With all the benefit stuff and the income, they're gonna pay you, and then going to working for yourself where you're dependent on yourself.
Yeah.
Have you had to make any changes from that that point where you had to jump?
Yeah, I had to make a lot of changes as far as really time management. Whenever you go from having a structured schedule to
that is a
having
word
an
right
open
there.
schedule, that is probably the one thing. There's a lot of things you got to manage finances, you got to take taxes out, you got to because you're a small business owner, you pay quarterly. There's a bunch of things
don't even get me started on taxes.
Same, bro. So there's a lot of things that are still stressful, but they're not as stressful as my time management. Because for me especially, if I have 7 listings to do in a day, I have to schedule that very efficiently, or else I'm only going to make 5 of them,
right?
Because it's just each home takes an hour to sometimes longer depending on how big they are to get photos of. So that's one of those things that you have to definitely time manage. That's the one thing I've learned for sure,
dude. I'm still
learning.
I've been officially full-time doing video for a little over a year. About a year and 2 months. And I'm I'm still trying to figure it out. But I'm doing better now, and I'm just there's just things I've got to I don't know. I'm not the greatest with organization,
Mm-hmm.
So but you got that again, that's one thing you have you got to do. You got to get if you're going to do it, you got to.
Yep.
So I'm still trying to figure that out,
yeah.
man. Sometimes my life is a mess though, cuz
I understand. But yeah.
So me and my wife the other day went to look at campers.
Okay.
To possibly live in.
Okay.
Because when you're working for yourself. Well, I am also just so everybody knows, I'm also a part-time youth minister, but I don't do that for the money. I do that because I enjoy teaching and helping and
self-awareness.
And so but whenever you're living for off your own money, you're working for yourself. You don't have other people to really depend on. So we're thinking about living in a camper and Airbnb in our house.
Okay.
Because, if we Airbnb our house, that can pay the money we get can pay the mortgage and the camper and put us in a better position financially. And so anything that can help is awesome. And so we went and looked at the campers, and I didn't have a clue what I was looking at, or I didn't know what I don't know anything. So we went and looked. Dude, they're awesome. They're the new campers have everything. It's I really, it's weird because I feel like almost everybody should, at least for a little bit, live in a camper. That's a really
you can
large you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because I was looking. So first we were looking at getting. We're getting a house, and maybe buying a house and then trying to keep our house and Airbnb it. So because long term I'm trying to just set us up and put us in a better position, and but I was looking at a house with a lake view or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's expensive.
If
it's available,
that is hundreds of thousands of
dude,
dollars.
yes, you know what I'm saying? We're not balling. We're not balling. And so that wasn't an option. But if you got a camper, you can go We can go to Airport Park. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
We can go to Airport Park and have a lake view. You wake up in the morning, lake right there.
You wanna live in the country? Go to the country.
You can go to the country.
Right.
You want to go to Colorado in the mountains? Go to Colorado.
In the mountains.
But dude, they're awesome.
That is an interesting idea.
It is.
It's I think it's a smart move by you. Like if you're trying to don't get rid of your house, because right now Airbnb market, especially in Waco with like the Magnolia stuff going on, and like just the market is crazy. Like absolutely should Airbnb it. Yeah. Like you could sell it and make a quick buck, or you could just Airbnb it and make consistent revenue. Right. And so
and houses are the best investments because they don't depreciate. They appreciate. You know.
And even if they depreciate, I doubt they depreciate to where you lose money. Right. Unless you just tear the place up.
Unless like the whole entire like economy just fell out in Great Depression.
Yep. Great Depression Part 2.
Yep.
Yeah, that could happen. But
unlikely. But it's not.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. So we're definitely gonna stick with Airbnb is what we're gonna do.
But anyways,
that's cool, man.
It was cool, dude. We took the kids and everything, and dude, it was so fun looking at all the campers. Like I want to go like right now and go check more campers out. Like they're so nice.
That'd be a good idea for a Lil Billy vlog.
And you know, I know actually. You know,
here we go.
I'm glad you brought it up. While we were there was a guy that recognized and said, "Hey, I watch your videos." You know.
Oh, really? At the RV place? That's cool.
And he's like, maybe we can do. Maybe you can like, do a video and kind of give you, a break or something. But I was like, yeah, man, that'd be a lot of fun.
We better give you a big break.
Lil Billy, looking at RVs. Hey, what's this one do? You know?
Yeah, and you just be like, Sir, I've told you 4 times now. They all do this. Yeah. They all have running water or whatever.
They all have toilets.
Yeah, they all have a toilet. Like, this one opens. Like, yeah, they all.
Oh, this one got nice storage.
Yeah. That'd be cool. But go ahead.
No, well, I would say absolutely. So with kids, it's a little harder because you need a little bit more room.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, so like, what do you do in that situation? Are they going to have to share? I'm assuming they're going to have to share a room, most likely. If it's a trailer, not a trailer. Like if it's
like a travel trailer,
type, you're gonna have to more or less share because I see some big ones. But I don't see
so they
like Winnebagos.
They're all different, but they all have like there's some with bunk beds on the very other end, and then on the other end you got like a queen or king size bed.
Yeah.
And your own little space.
Just get a Winnebago, bro.
Dude, I thought about
drive around. Like who cares about a truck?
I thought about getting and like an RV.
Yeah, like an actual RV
that I could just drive anywhere.
Dude, yeah, drive it to work.
number one. Okay, number
Carry
one.
The family with you. Let them stay outside.
Not great gas mileage. So if you're driving,
that is true. I heard you get like 8 miles per gallon or something.
If you're driving all the time, not very great.
Yeah.
2, they're a lot more money than trail. Just like a camper.
Yeah.
A lot more money.
Are they more upkeep too? I guess because it's all on one.
Yeah, I mean, and if something
platform, I guess. Yeah.
I did think about it because I didn't, the idea of like hitching it, unhitching it, like having
and like carrying it around all the time, like. But then I guess if you're in a Winnebago, you are carrying it around all the time. You're literally carrying your house with you.
At least with a camper, you can take it off at any time. And boom.
That is true.
Which leads me to the next thing. So I have to get a truck because right now we don't have a truck.
Right.
And this is when I was like, dude, I've got to get a truck, and I wish the Cybertruck was already out.
Yeah. You're like 2 years away. You're not that far away.
I can't wait that long.
2 years? 1 year. 1.5 years. 2 years. We'll go ahead and round it up.
At least 2.
Tesla time. Tesla time is like way different than normal time.
I'm gonna say at least 2, but I wish it was out right now.
Yeah.
Because I need a truck.
Yep.
I want the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
And it would be like.
We pre-ordered the Cybertruck.
Yeah, we did.
We
pre-ordered the
Cybertruck. We did.
But it was only $100.
Yeah, it's not like it costs $1,000.
It sounds
and
a lot.
It's refundable, so who cares? It's fine.
But we have the option when it comes, hopefully.
And really, I think it's just more for screenshotting purposes and being like, look what I did.
Dude, everybody, most people like when you say Cybertruck, they think most people are like, oh, that's so ugly.
Yeah,
but it
is a very polarizing design.
I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday.
Yeah.
I love the more I looked at the Cybertruck, the more I loved it. And one of the biggest reasons I loved it, because it was different. And if I was driving it, I'll be driving something different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like having the same stuff as ever. Like,
right.
not that I want it to be better than anybody, but I just like different. and the Cybertruck is different.
It's very different.
Very,
if you're looking for different, that is the only vehicle.
Not to mention,
really look at. Like,
not to mention the inside is like amazing looking. The room.
Yep.
And not to mention, if I got a camper, guess what?
Oh, it'll pull it easy. You see the torque on that thing is insane.
Torque.
The triple motor or the tri-motor, whatever they call it.
Yeah, I didn't.
Just try to get the dual
that was
motor.
a little too much money though.
Probably get the dual motor. Yeah, the dual motor I think is the best bang for the buck, because like I think the difference between the dual and a single motor was like a couple thousand, I think, or something.
No,
it wasn't.
It was like 10,000.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
so
selected
39.
So I selected the triple motor, but like they'll let you change it.
You selected the triple
just for fun. Why not? Like, I'm not gonna buy it.
I would still be realistic. Like I chose, whenever I pre-ordered the Cybertruck, I chose the single motor, but with the autopilot, which was an extra 7,000.
Right. Self-driving. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do that, right?
Yeah, you have to. If you're buying a Tesla, you have to have it. Like, that is the reason why you're not buying it to save the environment. I mean, you could buy a Prius and save the environment. Like, you're buying it because you're buying it for like the technology, the features.
Dude,
you know.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, I love mine.
Yes. So okay. So here's the whole thing. And some people love Tesla, some people don't. And honestly, I don't really care. But when Chase first got a Tesla, or he was talking about getting a Tesla, I didn't even have really a clue what Tesla was, and I didn't care. You know, there's just things that I don't put a lot of care and attention and stuff, like, unless, you know, I just don't. To me, I don't care.
It's just a waste of time. Yeah.
But so he got it, and he was picking me up because we were gonna I wanted to see it, and we are gonna make something.
Yeah.
And so he picked me up. This is when I was still working at the school, because remember you picked me up at the school.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even, like, I thought I wanted to see it because I wanted to see what it was like, but I wasn't excited, or like, you know, I just wanted to see what it was like because it's, you know, a different car. But when I got in,
everything changed,
dude.
It's not even a new one. It's one of the older ones. I ran 2014.
But it's awesome. Like when I got in, from the door opening, I sat in and I seen how the setup, and I was in love.
It's crazy, you know what? And to build off of that, how timeless those cars are. Really, like, they are dated. Obviously, my car doesn't have all the technology that the new cars have. It doesn't have self-driving. It does have autopilot. Like, it will keep me on the highways. Like, it's not going to stop at red light, or I'm definitely going to run 100% of those. If I'm on autopilot, I'm going to run 100% stop signs. Like, it doesn't do everything for you, but if I'm on the highway, so like here in Waco, it's a direct drive, like, straight to Austin and to Dallas and Fort Worth, right? So I'll just put it on autopilot and just keep my finger on the steering wheel, just enough to like let it know that I'm still the thing is, like, Tesla, whenever they first came out with autopilot, it would go, I think, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes without you touching the steering wheel. Well, the lawsuits started coming out really quick because you could fall asleep in 5 minutes. Like, a lot of people will fall asleep in 10 minutes, you know, like, and they're gone. And so at that point, the car is under control, but the car is not smart enough yet to be in full control. Like, it's just not there yet. And so a lot of people started having car accidents. Some people got killed. Tesla got in trouble. So they had to reduce that. So now it's like every 10 seconds. So like, how you combat that, though, is like, Tesla wants to know that you're aware, and so you have to keep a hand on the wheel. But it's not a whole hand. You don't have to hold it and pull down. You just kind of like put your finger on it, or so. Like, it has sensors, so like it knows, like, but like it can tell, like, because if you're gonna fall asleep, your hand's probably gonna fall off the moment the steering wheel starts to turn or something. Like, and then it's gonna beep at you. It's gonna wake you up. If you don't wake up, it's gonna pull over and turn the blinkers on. Which is awesome. Which is cool. Very cool.
People don't talk about that because there's been many lives that were saved because people fell asleep or had a seizure or went unconscious or a bunch of different things,
and the car
sensed that the driver was unconscious or not, you know, responding
after you don't respond for a second,
and it pulls over slowly and then slowly decelerates and stops and calls
the blinkers on. Like, it is crazy, and I haven't had any of those situations yet. I haven't fallen asleep or anything.
Thank God.
Thank goodness. Oof. But I have had situations where, like, Allie and I went down to New Orleans. We took it all the way to New Orleans, which cost me $0, by the way, to travel all the way to New Orleans. Superchargers are free for the older Teslas. So if you get a 2016 or older, so they started making them in 2012 technically, but 2016 or older, those cars have free supercharging. So like, we drove all the way to New Orleans from here.
I'm telling you, one
free.
day.
But anyway, hang on.
Oh, sorry.
This is a really good story.
Go.
I promise. I'm getting to the punchline. And so, anyway, so that was just a sidetrack. But we were driving in New Orleans, and I wasn't familiar with the roads. I didn't have autopilot on. I did have the adaptive cruise control, so there's two versions of it. There's full autopilot, where it's literally turning for you and stuff, and then there's just adaptive cruise, where it just uses radar and the camera to know what's in front of you. So I had it on adaptive cruise control. My car just starts braking. I'm coming up over this hill, over a hill. My car starts braking. And I thought something was just like crazy. Every now and then it kind of glitches and will kind of brake thinking it sees something and it doesn't. I thought it was one of those scenarios. So I actually tried to turn it off, like mid-brake. I'm like trying to turn the accelerator off into where I can take control and speed up. Well, then I get up over the hill and there's a car that's been rear-ended and they're stopped like right here. I'm coming up over the hill doing like 70. And so by the time I'd come up over the hill and taken over, I was still going like 50. So I was able to swerve. But like, it's one of those situations where like if I would have been going full speed, I would have been right into the back of that car. Right. And who knows what would have happened. And so, there are a bunch of safety features built into it that a lot of people take for granted. Like that thing, I don't know how it knew. I'm guessing radar. I don't know. I have no clue how that works. That's way above my pay grade.
That's crazy.
But yeah, like it's insane. But like to just hit on your story there, like there's a bunch of safety features for people that need it. Obviously, like people that fall asleep, a lot of people that work long hours. Like obviously, it's good for those people. But then there's a bunch of just day in day out safety features that you wouldn't really account for until something happens, you know. So
it's awesome though, and you're right. It is like kind of timeless. It's like it's like ahead of its time because what year is yours?
14.
So yours is 2014.
It is.
And I have a 2015 Jeep Cherokee Latitude. Okay, and it's like the full like everything. Yeah, like all out.
It's fancy.
Yours is still like way ahead. Like from I'm just talking about inside. Yeah. Like from the screen to all the controls to what it can do. Like it's way ahead of and it's even ahead of like brand new cars. Yep. Just normal cars. Like
they did that or they invented they designed the Model S and now we're getting off on this I could talk about Tesla forever, but whenever they designed the Model S, it was to make enough money to make the Model 3, right? So they made the Model S, over designed it more or less on purpose, so that way, one, it would be timeless, but two, it's consistent money. And they started making the Model 3s out of that, which are still timeless. Model 3s are still really nice. I want one. I will get one eventually. Not anytime soon though. Still got to pay for my car, but the Model 3s are timeless, but they're not. They're more future proof. So I don't know, timeless maybe. They've only been out for like 3 years, so I don't really know yet. But the point of the Model 3s though, you may not know this, is that the reason why all the Model 3s have self-driving hardware. So they all have the cameras and the technology to do it. It's just a feature whether or not it's turned on or off if you paid for it at the time of purchase. You could pay for it later if you want. But the reason why they include all those cars to have that hardware is because in the future they want to make a Tesla taxi service where you could go to work. This is where it gets crazy. This is like mind-blowing. You could go to work and you basically put your car into taxi mode and your car just goes out and makes money for you while you're working. You get paid. You get paid a piece of that because it's your car. And it's your wear and tear. So there's a lot of questions that come up with that. I've thought about it, and I'm like, okay, what happens if something happens? Like, is Tesla at fault for that? What happens if like wear and tear on the vehicle? Does Tesla give you a break on? There's a lot of other things. There's a lot of variables.
Thinking outside the box.
Yeah, there's a lot of other variables, but that's the point of the Model 3, right? It's affordable. It's more affordable. Define affordable, but it's more affordable than the Model S's and Model X's. Obviously, those are crazy expensive. But the point of the car in long term is there's a huge fleet of Tesla. Like they could just flip a switch, kind of like with a software update, and they could all become taxis. Now you have the right to turn that on and off. Like from what Elon says, like it's totally optional. It's an opt-in type thing, opt-out. Like it's kind of like
that's cool though. You can make money while you're at work.
Yeah, it's kind of like an Uber thing, right? Like you could do it literally, set your own hours. Like if you want your car to go do it from 12 to 2, but you get off at 3. So what he is saying is the car will go by the charger, which I don't know how that's going to work yet. There's so much gray area here, but like apparently the car will go by the superchargers, charge itself, and then be back at your work fully charged, waiting on you.
Wow.
With money in your bank. I don't know how that's going to work. There's a lot of questions.
Hold on. But. So that idea is like amazing, but then like I think about, well, what about the person they pick up? Yeah. What if they?
That's another question. There's a lot of legal stuff. There's a lot of safety stuff.
What if they like puke all in my car, or what if they like just
That is actually one of the things I read. It's like, well, what happens if they like, what if it picks up somebody that's just had a really long day, went to the bar way early, super drunk, and throws up all in the, like there's a bunch of variables there. But I think it's because Tesla's so far ahead of their time. Like they are thinking. I'm sure they're playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers, right? Like all the other manufacturers are playing like, well, let's see what we can put in for infotainment. Let's see what we can do for, gas mileage, all this stuff. So Tesla's like, yeah, that's fun. That's all cool and all, but like, let's see what we can do 10 years from now, right? And so, I think that's why, like right now, the Cybertruck looks dumb, but they're designing it for the future.
Dude, there's a
whole bunch of stuff, man.
I love the fact that it doesn't look. I love it.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll be able to get it.
Yeah.
I wish it was like now though. And dude, it's gonna do well. I have a feeling.
I think it will.
I have a feeling the Cybertruck. All right, you're gonna have to hold on, buddy. I have a feeling that the Cybertruck is gonna outsell everything.
I think so. I think it's going to be one of their most. I think the Model Y that's coming out, it's actually about to start shipping. I think in March. It's like a bigger version of the Model 3.
What does the Model Y Model Y start at?
38,000, I think, or 39,000. Like, don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's like it's still cheap, still affordable. But like if you spec it out, you're up there in the 60s range, 65. But it's supposed to be basically a breed between the Model 3 and the Model Y. Like a lot of people didn't like the Model 3 because it was too small of a car. A lot of people don't like the Model X because it's too big and it's really expensive.
Right.
And so this is like a mid point between that. And then this is the last vehicle from what we understand, from what they've said at least. This is the last car they'll make before they start making the Cybertruck. No, they're going to make like the supercar. What was that called? The Roadster?
Yeah.
They're going to make the Roadster, which is insane.
And
0 to 60 in like 0.9 seconds or something. Like that's a rocket ship.
Was it 1.9 or 0.9?
I don't know.
I want to say 1.9,
but even 1.9 is nuts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's and then the 18-wheelers.
Oh yeah, the like Semi, Tesla Semi. Yeah. So like as far as like mainstream vehicles though, that's the last mainstream car they're gonna make before they make the Cybertruck.
Dude, those Tesla semis were like sweet. I wanted to get one.
I want to be a trucker. I don't even know how to be a trucker. How do I sign up?
They're
I want to do it.
So cool, man. Yeah. And that they just do such a good job. So whether you love Tesla or hate Tesla,
they're pushing the industry forward. Like a lot of people don't like Tesla, but they like what they're doing. Right, like they're pushing the industry for. Think about like how stagnant the automotive industry has been for the last so many years, and like Tesla comes in and like not everybody's mimicking Tesla, but everybody's starting to make more efficient cars, cheaper cars. They're electric. There's a new electric Mustang coming out. There's electric Hummer now. I think I saw on Super Bowl ads. So
which I've never seen Did you see an actual picture of it?
It's just a front. They're supposed to release it like later.
I don't even know what were people.
I don't know.
People are like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like,
"The hype train, bro."
I didn't even see it.
Join the hype train.
I mean, it's cool. I think it's cool, but they're probably also going to be like $80,000.
Yeah, it's a Hummer. It's gonna be a Hummer price.
I mean,
I highly doubt they make it affordable for the masses.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
It's just not Hummer like.
Yeah, but
it's like Apple trying to make like.
I'll take a Cybertruck any day, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gonna be way cooler. Than a Hummer.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
We'll see. But like, they're pushing the industry forward.
Yeah, they are,
and that's what matters. Is so.
I love it, man.
That's all their patents are open source. Literally, Ford could go pull all of their patents and make an electric car that even uses their supercharger network. People don't want to do it though.
That's crazy.
I don't understand. He made all that stuff open source a long time ago.
That's
actually,
crazy.
I think when we first started the company. But yeah,
because he can make a lot of, I don't know.
Yeah, you can make a lot of money. But he
could be giving up a lot of money.
Right, he's doing that because he's trying to push the industry forward. Like his goal with Tesla was not to make Tesla the richest, which is the stock price. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was over 900 yesterday.
Oh my gosh,
today insane. I saw it was like 800, like a little under.
That's insane.
But it's hovering like around 900.
Yeah, I sold it like 250, and I totally regret that 1,000 times.
Just a couple months ago, it was like at 500.
Yeah.
Or maybe a month, or I don't know. It was just a couple months. It was 500. Now it's like 900. It'll be 1,000 probably soon. It's going up, baby. But dude, I cannot. But I wish, and that's. I'm having a hard time. Speaking about waiting, like.
Yeah.
If the Cybertruck will come out tomorrow, I would just be so excited.
But it won't. It's gonna be 2 years. Are you willing to wait 2 years?
I don't know. If I want to get a camper, I got to get a truck, and I can't wait.
Or
for
get
the
a Winnebago.
No, I can't get a Winnebago. Those are too. Those are. Wait,
you could get an old Winnebago.
Hey, Tesla. What if Tesla came out with an RV? Oh,
I want them to come out with that electric.
That would
ATV.
change my life. Oh yeah, when is that? Is that around the same time as our?
They just said they never released any details about it. It was just like an ATV they created for that demo. That would be cool. They have electric motorcycles, all that stuff.
Dude, oh my gosh.
Can you imagine? Like there's a whole future there. They're just tipping the iceberg, I think.
Tipping the iceberg.
Just tipping on the iceberg.
Well, on that, we're tipping the iceberg with this show, with this podcast.
We are.
So we finally got it off the ground, and just thank y'all for watching.
Good segue there.
Yeah, thanks, man.
God, that was real clean.
So
Comment what you think about that. That was good.
We got it into somewhere, so I was like, nice transition.
Nice.
But thank y'all for watching. We're gonna try to put out a new podcast every week, consistently. So you know, at least one a week, and hoping to put it like every Friday. If we can kind of make that happen, that'd be pretty awesome. So stick around. We are gonna have guests on the show or on the podcast. We're gonna try to bring in different people. People from different businesses, different cult, just all kinds of different people.
Different walks of life, man. Like different life stories that I can't wait to hear and talk to them about. So.
Yeah, there's a few that we're gonna have, and we're already really excited about. So that'll add a lot of dynamic to what we're doing, and just add a lot of flavor and color. Yeah, which I love flavor.
Flavor Flav.
Well, anyways. On that note, thank y'all so much. We hope y'all have a blessed week and peace.
Great weekend.
Yes, and great weekend.
And a great week. Remember, Monday is not Monday if you love what you do.
Boom, baby.
Boom.